Hello everybody, this is Mrs. Mancina. I apologize for the delay on the video. I know my mouth is not matching up with the sound, but I just wanted to turn on my webcam for a second here and say hello. Today's session is going to be about outlining a literary analysis essay. So the first part of this outline, and we're going to be using the informal outline given to you on your OLS, and so the first part of this is identifying the pattern of organization that you will be using. The pattern that I have chosen is chronological, and I really like this pattern when you're writing a literary analysis essay because it takes you from beginning to end. So you're going to start at the beginning of the poem and you work your way through it till the very end. And that's just the most logical pattern that I could think of for my essay. You can also use cause and effect, compare and contrast, most important to least important, or least important to most important as other patterns of organization to choose from. The second thing we're going to do in this informal outline is title your essay. So my working title is Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night and Live Fully Without Regrets. All right, the third portion of this outline is to jot down some ideas about what you would like to say in your introduction. Remember, there are 3 parts to every essay: an introduction, body, and conclusion. So we're going to jot down some ideas. For this class, I would like everyone here to have these 2 things. I would like everyone to start with a great hook, as well as end your introduction with a thesis statement. Okay, so here's some ideas for a great hook. Dramatic lead, series of 3 questions on your topic or theme, quotation, leisurely lead, or the word imagine. For more information about these hooks or clinchers that I'll give you for the conclusion, please let me know, and I can send you another video. But here is the hook that I'm going to use. Dylan Thomas died only 1 year after publishing one of his most famous poems, Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night. He was rumored to have been a wild man himself, indulging heavily on alcohol. Did he take his own advice given in this poem? All right, and then the second part that I wanted to jot down is my thesis statement. So my thesis statement is, in Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night, Dylan Thomas shows that we should live life fully without regrets, so we do not have to fight the end of life on our deathbed. All right, the next portion of the outline is just to start looking at some thematic evidence that you're going to use in your body paragraph. The minimum number of body paragraphs for this essay is 3. Okay, I want you to have at least 3 body paragraphs explicating and analyzing your poem. So how I decided to maybe do this outline is to write about the first stanza. Okay, and then I'll talk about these middle stanzas, and then in my third body paragraph maybe talk about the last stanza. Okay, so in the first stanza I wanted to point out the metaphor of night and death. Night equals death, day equals life, some imagery, the burn, and the repetition of the word rage and rage. Okay, so those are some things that I might want to talk about in my first body paragraph. In my next body paragraph, I will be talking about all of these stanzas right here. Remember, this is where Dylan Thomas talks about the different types of men and how they fight death and why they fight death. So I'm going to summarize what he's saying here, as well as maybe talk about some poetic devices also. Repetition, imagery, any other metaphors or similes that I could think of. And then you know, what I would like to do is then talk about the final stanza in my last paragraph. So here are some thoughts. Speaker says that my father should also fight death. We have that repetition again. We have some oxymorons, imagery, and metaphor. All right, so these are just my notes for my different body paragraphs. The last part of your outline is to talk about what you would like to include in your conclusion. For this class, I'd like everybody to restate your thesis as well as end with a clincher. So here's how I want to restate my thesis. I don't like it, so I'll probably change it. And then here is my clincher. Okay, so he challenges us not to be one of the people he describes in his poem that realize the magnificence and splendor of day too late and that must rage and fight against death until their very last breath. So that's one idea, to use a challenge, but you can also use a metaphor or simile, a question, or a quote. So I hope that helped you go through this outline to see how I'm going to be using it. And then in class, we're going to be going through your outline and letting you fill out your own outline.